Welcome to today's podcast. My name is Pearlie Brewer, and I will be your host. Today's podcast guests are Mario Arsenault and Danica Doucette. Mario is the Executive Director of the New Brunswick Forest Safety Association, and Danica is a Manager of Training, Sales, and Marketing for the association. Welcome, guys. Nice to have you. To get us started, it's always nice to find out a little bit about the backgrounds of the people that we have on our podcast. So perhaps I could start with Danica. Prior to your current position, what were you doing?
Thank you for having me today. So my previous employment consisted more or less of industrial construction. So I do have my NCSO designation. I also have my professional Gold Seal designation as a safety officer. I've been in the industry for about 14 years now. I started off as a administrative receptionist and kept educating myself, taking more classes in health and safety. I developed this interest and this passion in regards to safety training. And I continued my education to emphasize on the importance of safety training and the importance of keeping our folks safe at work. So anywheres from the janitor to the CEO, that's something that we need to really bring back to life, in my opinion. The safety culture, the safety trainings, and these hazards that are associated with these trades, and not necessarily only the trades, anybody on the work platform and in the work fields. There's so many dangers or hazards, I would say, out there, and we need to educate our folks that are providing services for us. So I did work industrial construction, like I said, for about 12 years, and a new opportunity presented itself, working for a local business. So I thought I would adventure off into that. And I did that for about 2 years in a sawmill, which also gave me a chance to grow in the forestry industry, which was a bit new for me. So I did that for about 2 years while I sat on the board of directors for New Brunswick Forest Safety Association. And then the opportunity to join their team as a staff member presented itself. And that's where I branched off, and here I am today.
How about you, Mario?
Well, I've been a board member for NBFISA for probably 10 years, give and take a year or 2 here and there. But I was always in the sawmill, in a local sawmill for about 15 years. I did all the work that you could imagine, starting in the woods with being a scaler, out in the yard being a wood grader, to a yard manager, mill manager, yard and planer manager in Balmoral. Then when this mill shut down, I did move to Belledune into another mill for 18 and a half years. My duties over there were mostly HR, health and safety. So I was into training, specifically into new employee orientation training, and also health and safety training for all kinds of training that we needed in the sawmill. In my past year and a half or 2 years at the sawmill, I did touch a little bit of public relation. So if NBFISA was probably looking for somebody that had touch at everything or a pretty good idea of what's going on in the wood industry, I think they had the right guy when they hired me a year ago at NBFISA as the executive director.
So do you want to fill folks in on how NBFISA gets started, when they get started?
Sure. NBFISA was created in the early 1960s, and it did last until 1982, where at that point of time in the wood industry, they said we don't need training. Even sawmills, they didn't need any training. So it kept going on after 1982. And in 2005, when WorkSafe brought up that there was so many accidents in sawmills and in the wood industry that we had to do something. And it was brought up to bring back NBFISA, New Brunswick Forest Safety Association. So it was brought back in 2005. With all the members that were part of the association were all the sawmills. And we're talking in 05 at about probably 160, maybe 180 sawmills in New Brunswick. And as you folks probably know, that between 2008 and 2013, a lot of sawmills had to shut down or were closed down for a lack of money, not making enough money because the price of wood was so low. So in 2013, we ended up with 45 sawmills in New Brunswick. Since then, right now there's 34 sawmills. So, and 6 or 7 of them are owned by Irving. So it comes up to 26 different companies or 26 different sawmills in New Brunswick. So that's what we are. That's what we have as members for our organization.
Now, do you cover other woods workers besides sawmills under your association? Say if there's a crew out cutting logs, that sort of thing, would they fall under your association? Or is it just sawmills?
So for our members at the moment, we do have, we are inclusive to the sawmills. Okay. But NBFISA does not necessarily only provide services to these facilities. We are open to providing services to any business out there that would need health and safety training. And that's why we have the opportunity for employers to join us as associate members. So because they are not part of the criteria that they would become our members, they have the opportunity to sign up as an associate member, which would give them rebates on safety trainings versus just being a regular non-member. So it's a bit of a financial saving on the trainings that we provide, but any business out there is welcome to reach out to us, and we provide services to anyone that would need health and safety trainings. So our trainings are not necessarily strictly for the sawmills. We offer trainings that are relative to any other business out there. For example, WHMIS, which any business technically by the legislation is required to provide to their employees. We offer that training.
And to add to this, we also know that in the wood industry, like any forester that's got a harvesting machine with pulp jack and all that good stuff, they probably have 6 to 7 employees. They're not the people that are going to train a lot of their employees. No. Even though some of the training is necessary or is mandatory, they're doing the strict minimum. But it's hard for us to have access to all those great people and to be everywhere. That's one of the reasons here that we do this podcast is to reach out to all those guys and to let them know that even first aid, it's basic, but we need first aid. Especially if you're in the woods, you need the first thing. So we are reaching out to everybody, all the forestry workers everywhere in New Brunswick. We're reaching out to them to provide them with training.
Now, what about pulp mills? Do you cover those as well, or is that separate?
It is separate, and this all goes with WorkSafe New Brunswick. There's different. If you have the name, Danica, you can go right ahead there. But there's different.
There's different categories when it comes to the workers' compensation rates. The difference between the members and our associate members are the codes that they are assigned to with WorkSafe New Brunswick. And that is why we have the opportunity for them to join as associate members, because they are not part of the code that were assigned to them.
Okay, so Danica is sort of the person that looks after the training aspect of it. When I go on your website, I see that you offer a variety of services to your clients. Why don't you talk a little bit about what training courses you do provide to your clients?
We recently created a new website. We have a list of all our trainings available. We also have a new online platform that we offer our members, non-members, and associate members, which is an awareness platform for trainings that they might want to offer their employees as a due diligence. These trainings vary from 30 minutes to 2 hours approximately. And we also offer about 40 trainings that we offer in person. So we can go directly to the business site and provide these trainings for the employees that require them. We have a full list of all the trainings that are available. On top of my head here, I would say fall protection, confined space, WHMIS, lockout. These are the trainings that are being requested quite frequently. We also provide the chainsaw safety awareness and practical. We offer the mobile equipment, so a rough terrain forklift, which is known as telehandler, forklifts, various pieces of equipment that are used in the sawmill industry and in most big enterprises that work with heavy equipment. And a lot of folks don't know where to get these trainings, and we do provide them.
Now, do you do most of your training on site, or how has the virtual worked out for you?
So it's very flexible, depending on the amount of folks that require the training. Once upon a time, we had a minimum of 12 students per class. Now we try to be a little bit more flexible. We understand that 12 people from a shift might not be okay for a supervisor trying to run their day shift or their night shift. So we do offer the opportunity, if it's feasible for our association, that we at least, cut even. We can go directly to site for, 6 employees or 8 employees, depending on the location of where it is. And that allows the employers to save money too on, travel and expenses and meals and all that fun stuff. And if we do happen to finish, an hour earlier or whatever it may be, depending on the group of people, the competency, the experience that these folks already have, well, it allows the employer to maybe assign them to the sawmill line or whatever it may be for that extra hour of their shift. So a lot of folks do take advantage of having us come directly to them. And then if we have larger classes, or we have folks that maybe have 1 or 2, and there's a lot of different businesses around them that do have 1 or 2 employees that would like to participate, we can rent a conference room close by, and everybody kind of gathers there, and we hold a training session for more than one business at a time, and that's also possible. So
now, do you have many instructors?
Yes, we do. Mario and I are actually trainer for various courses. And then we have 4 other third-party businesses that we have agreements with that they also provide our courses. So if we need to provide 2 or 3 different fall protection classes within the same few days, we do have the flexibility to offer them and provide the training that is required to the businesses around the province.
I'm just going to add to what Danica was saying there, and I'm going to give you an example of how flexible we can be as an association. In October, middle of October, Maybec is a company from Quebec. They are located in Balmoral, and it's my hometown. So they have 6 employees or 6 foremen that needs fall arrest training. It's hard for them to get all of those 6 person together. So I agreed to go on 2 different afternoons to provide the training for them. So it's going to be a 6 to 8 hour course on 2 different afternoons. So that's the kind of flexibility that Danica was talking about with the challenges that the companies are facing today with the lack of employees, the lack of resources. So they can count on us to be flexible, to bend over 2 or 3 times to make sure that we're going to provide the service for them. One other thing that I would like to mention on our website that I would love to do, and I don't even know if it's feasible or not, but I would like to have a few bullets out there that would say like SSNB, Service, Safety Service New Brunswick, WSNB, WorkSafe New Brunswick, NBCSA. Those are all people that are other associations that we work together with. I'd like to have bullets on our website, and I would like them to do the same thing, to have a bullet for us. So the people that would go into safety, they would have a lot of resources to make sure that they could get the training that they need.
Now, are there similar board safety associations in other provinces like Quebec, Nova Scotia, and so on? Do you know?
Well, as you probably know, legislation is different in every provinces.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make sure if we would want to cross borders to go and we were asked, even Nova Scotia are often asked for a chainsaw court. They were way back then asked to come in New Brunswick or the borders of Moncton, whatever, close to Nova Scotia, to come to give a chainsaw course. But they were reaching out to us. So we don't really want to cross the borders, and because NBFISA, it's New Brunswick Forest Safety Association. Nova Scotia's got the same thing. Quebec's got the same thing. And the main thing is also that we want to focus on our members. We want to focus on giving service to our members as much as we can. Like I just said, we want to bend over for whatever we can do to provide good services. So we're going to focus on New Brunswick and our members.
And just to emphasize on what Mario just mentioned, the legislation has a lot of different criteria from province to province. Mm-hmm. And a lot of folks don't necessarily realize that. Their main office might be in New Brunswick and they're working out of Nova Scotia. So they need to really be careful and do their due diligence when it comes to the regulations and the acts. As, for example, fall protection. Requirements are not the same in Alberta versus in New Brunswick. So if you're doing your trainings in New Brunswick and you're going out to work in Alberta, you might want to double check this information because it could be crucial and it could be very costly to a business if they're training their folks with not the proper trainings, depending on where the work sites are. And I think that's something that is maybe not paid attention to as much as it should. And like Mario said, every province has their own association or their own groups of identities that do take care of this. The main goal is to train folks and to keep them safe. So if we can't provide the training that they need with what answers to the legislation of the province that they are working in, that's why we reach out to different identities and we try to work together and make sure that we're keeping these folks safe.
Now, Danica, I also notice you have an audit system that you promote to your members. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. So we do offer the service that we come in on site. We'll go through their policies, their regulations, their internal procedures, and we help them either construct more policies or revise what they currently have. And we bring our expertise to the table and offer guidance or resources for them to be able to educate their folks and answer the legislation at the same time. So it's a win-win situation, in my opinion. The audit program is really focused on being up to par with the legislation and the regulation that the province is requiring for all identities as an employer.
Just touch on this one also. Our safe audit system, it doesn't penalize the employer that's going to get our services. It provides them with the right thing to do, and then it's up to them to be up to par with the regulations. So the audit system is a great thing, and it is a great asset for our association, but it's a great tool for any employer that would like us to walk in their facility and help them to bring their business to a higher level.
Now, Mario, you had indicated earlier in our podcast that WorkSafe had been anxious to get your organization up and running again. What have you seen as far as accident rates since you've been able to sort of go out there and really promote health and safety? Have accident rates dropped when it comes to sawmills? Do you have any indication?
I think that when WorkSafe was part of the board back then in 2005, we say accident, but I think the most important part was some deaths in New Brunswick that were a very big concern for WorkSafe New Brunswick. If it went down, of course it did. If I have a number or a way of showing it to you, no. WorkSafe have those numbers. It is something that we would like to share with the public. I know for a fact any industry, any sawmill could reach out to WorkSafe and ask them, what was my accident rate last year? How many accidents did I had last year? And they can tell them it was 12. What is it this year? You're down to 8. So there is ways with WorkSafe New Brunswick to provide those numbers to each individual. It's impossible for me to have numbers for, let's say, Irving, because I'm not part of the administration with Irving. But as owner of a company or administrator of a company, you could get those numbers easily. But I do think, to come to your question, that yes, the accident rate has probably went down dramatically, and it's all because of training.
Yep. So is there a busier time of the year for you folks?
Yes, definitely after our summer vacations. This is when I would say our busiest time would be from January to probably April, where we provide the most trainings out of our facility and our in-person training. For the rest of the year, it's a lot harder for businesses to let their folks out. We've noticed that a lot of them will require their staff to go take these trainings on their day off. And a lot of sawmills have rotations of 2, 2, 3. So, they only get 2 days off or 3 days off during their week, but it's scattered a bit all over the place. So, they try to get their folks in on their days off because they're running such tight ships. And it's very difficult for a business to let, half their shift leave for safety training. So, back to what Mario was saying a while ago on the flexibility. Sometimes we'll break a course into 3 evenings instead of having a full day of training, or we'll do them on the weekends or whatever. Of course, we try to keep it to Monday to Friday, but the mandate is to keep our folks safe. So we work with them and we try to do as best as we can, to provide these trainings to the facilities. But then again, it's very difficult for businesses to release all these folks. So between the summer vacations and the industry time of the year, I would say that safety trainings are very high during the months between January and April, and we try to be as flexible as possible during those times to get everybody in and get everybody certified and trained.
So Mario, what's the biggest challenge for your organization going ahead?
Challenges are to get our members to use our services. A lot of our members are probably using private training. To get back to them and say that they would be saving money if they could come back to train with us. We know since the pandemic, it was very, very hard. We've went to, I'm going to say 1,000 certificates per year to 300 certificates per year. That's in-person certificates. So it's a big challenge. It's a concern. We're giving us 2 years to bring back all the members with better quality training and feasibility for them to understand that it's going to be a benefit if they do train with us.
So to tag on to what Mario was saying too, one of the biggest challenges is bringing back the safety culture. And I mean, it's no secret to anybody, the forestry industry, we have some businesses that we work with, they only have 1 or 2 or, maybe 5 employees, and the cost related to safety trainings is overwhelming for a business owner. They're already trying to make ends meet. The market is very fluctuating, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I can't, dish out $2,000 for safety trainings right now. And one of our biggest challenge is getting this message out there that we offer trainings for as low as, $75 per person. And if you think about it, $75 per person versus a claim on your WorkSafe file or whatever it may be is a lot cheaper than providing these trainings. And beyond all of that is keeping your folks safe. I mean, we are all working for the same goals, providing, whatever it may be, financially for your family, yourself, whoever, is involved in your own personal world outside of work. And it's keeping our folks safe. So sometimes we think that providing safety is an expense, but I think it brings a lot of value and a lot of knowledge to these business owners. You might, save on damaged equipment. You might save on having one of your top employees or maybe your worst employees out, for 6 to 8 months. And that is a big cost versus a $75 course that may prevent these accidents from happening and injuring your folks and whatever else that may entail in these unfortunate events. But reality is that accidents do happen and near miss do happen. And usually when a business is encountered with a lot of the same near miss, there's probably an accident that's going to follow shortly after. And to me, that is a red flag. Okay, we're having a lot of near miss in this department or on this piece of equipment. Maybe we should look into getting our folks trained, or maybe we should look into some sort of tools or resources for employees to avoid these accidents that may happen in the future. And I think that we need to really educate folks on the importance of safety trainings and resources that are available to them.
So to finish up, Mario, what are you hearing when you go out and talk to sawmills as far as how they're feeling, the economy, their futures?
Well, I was just out of a sawmill industry not too long ago. So, the pandemic was not too good for a lot of companies, but sawmills, it was great for them. A lot of them did put a lot of money in their mill. They get it more efficient, and that's a good thing. What we hear is they want training. They want to be back out there. They want to train more people. They want to be on top of things with their training. And we have a great way of doing that. What people need to realize is Forêt Nouveau-Brunswick or Forest New Brunswick, another association in New Brunswick, they had a promotion 2 years ago that said I'm part of that 24,000 forestry workers, 24,000 forestry workers. We are 26 members at NBFISA. We're probably around 4,000 employees. So we are missing 20,000 employees or forestry workers out there to train, either truckers, forester, and even the paper mill in New Brunswick. So with that said, I would like to reach out to them and say, hey, listen, guys, if you need training, if you want to be part of that 24,000 person in New Brunswick that are trained, that are being on top of your game, you can reach out to us, and we're going to be there to deliver whatever you need.
Well, look, I'd like to thank you very much, Mario and Danica, for the agreeing to appear in our podcast today. Wish you very well in the future. Again, for our listeners, go to the NBFSA website. A lot of great resources there, a lot of good training courses, an audit program, and so on. And I'm sure they'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much for listening to our podcast today. As always, we'd like to hear your feedback. You can reach us at podcast@ssnb.ca. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.